Hello and welcome back to another From the Depths video. Today we'll be building internals and systems and all kinds of things for Nanushka. Also, sorry if my voice sounds kind of strange. I am still very sick. Alright, so here I'm taking the turret cap off the turret tool because I found a version that actually has that gun, so just to save time and sanity. And you'll see me redoing this gun 1 or 2 times. It's a very stupid gun I've been making here because I only have 2 meters to work with, meaning I don't have a lot of space for anything. So here I'm designing the shell, and I decided to just make it a flak head. It's only going to be useful for that. It's 76 millimeters. It's not useful for anything else. So, and now I'm placing in the autoloaders. While this is going on, I am so grateful for the support from the last video. People seem to enjoy this. I enjoy making stuff like this, showing how I build things. Also, here again, redoing the whole gun. So I'm glad you guys like it. Also, sorry for the long waits between the episodes. I don't have a lot of time these days, and the time I do have is spent on relaxing because it's stressful being at school. So, in terms of designing this gun, getting the design in was the difficult part. Balancing everything and making it actually effective was not that difficult. Recoil is not a problem, and fire rate is pretty good for such a small gun. Actually better than on the Terran Soul, which is kinda weird. Also here placing in the CWIS controller and copying the settings from the local weapon controller and the CWIS controller from the Terran Soul. And I can see I didn't set up the local weapon control on Terran Tool, so I'm just quickly doing it here now. And now that's done, I'll fill in the deck for the thing. I'm gonna use heavy armor around the turret neck because I just think that's better. And now I'm starting to work on a turret neck. I found a picture where it has this perfect thing for steam turbines, so I just quickly went and used that. It's not a super genius way of making it, but it's fine. It looks good. So not too worried about that. And now just scaling everything to fit. And now that's done. And here I'm taking a little while to look at things I shouldn't look at, like Discord and things. So now I am starting to fill in the internals, not just the weapons. This will be the ammo store. You'll see later that this is not nearly enough for when I need to add in the missiles and stuff. So I actually didn't know that it wouldn't be enough. So the ammo locker is done now. And now for the engine. And I am not the greatest at designing engines. And here I accidentally made a turbine which does not produce engine power, only energy. So, still sick. And you'll see me redesign this engine a few times because I'm just not happy with how much space it took up. So, and now this is a simple engine right here, and I am not happy with it. So I saw a possibility of like doubling, the amount of engine power I get out of this little setup, or just, well, doubling the amount of crankshafts I have. This engine provides more than enough power for all the engines and future propellers, stabilizers, and up props and all that. This is more than enough power. 12,600. For a tiny setup. Now encasing that, and adding a helium pump because that's one of the few ways my ships actually can stay afloat by just filling them with helium. And now adding in some resource storage. I figured since if the engine get hit, it's gonna die anyway, so why not just fill it with resources? If they get hit, it will kill the engine also. And now I am adding some props. My ships are always so heavy that they need up props, like propellers that point upwards, so that it doesn't just sink. Also needs stabilizers because I am not the greatest at balancing my ships. And now placing in the AI. Sorry for that commentary. There's just not much to say here. It's just AI setup. I have a lot of general processing cards because I'll need it for the missiles, because I always use remote guidance missiles. This time I might use something else. I am not sure. I don't know if I have the space for enough of those cards. And armoring up the bottom. And stealing the paint from the Terran tool. Just to be sure. I like uniformity. And now placing in some PIDs. Their settings will get changed later. Just more gain because well, the ship is heavy. I don't know what else to say. And now adding in a frontal propeller for upwards force and pitching. The front will not be used for much else. Maybe a SAM launcher in the future. I'm not sure. Also finally filling in the deck under the race deck. Or the angled deck, I should say. And now I can see I don't have nearly enough propellers for pitching and roll and all that. So adding in a few more. And also setting up main propellers. More pitch control. Also, yes, this is killing my throat, so I am sacrificing my voice and my throat for you guys. So please consider liking and subscribing for this, because if not, I am dying for no reason. And now trying to set up the PIDs to actually make it work. The game will have to be very high compared to what I usually do. It's only gonna get worse from here. Alright, so marked out where the SAM launcher will be. And now trying to fit, see how Terran Tool's missiles would fit in. Not great. And now for the actual superstructure. I will go back and change the superstructure because I am not too happy with it, and you'll see why later. So this is the front part. There will be a radar like in the middle of all that, and that will be later. In a future episode where I go around and decorate it and tie it all together. So this superstructure was really weird because it has, as you can see me building here, a large box kind of superstructure overhanging the deck. Beneath that will be actual missile launchers. It was very difficult to figure out how I should actually do this, but I did figure it out in the end. Just think I made a top section a bit too large. Also, whenever I try to build one-to-one, well, at least in length and width, superstructure always seems to not add up for me, like be too large. I've seen it on the Barbie and now also on this because it's way too large compared to what it should be. So I have no idea what's going on there. Maybe I should use some photo, like things I can put a ruler on so I can see, oh, okay, that's how long it is. And I'm reducing how big it actually is, the up part there. And just generally outlining the superstructure. Moving it out here. I'll use, because I want a half meter deck there, I'll just use applique for reference. Does also mean I have to do some deco work to make the beams be 2.5 meters. Oh, the slopes be 2.5 meters, sorry. It will of course be decorated over to look like metal and alloy, not just applique. Same in here. And there's been a couple of days between this and the other shot, but now I'm finally building the top part of the superstructure. Again, smoothing it out. And redoing it because I do be like that. So I don't know why this broke my brain so much, trying to do that part, but I did figure it out. Oh, sorry. Also extending the deck, everything a little bit. And just general cleanup. I'm trying my best to not work on the missile launchers because I am dreading those. And now building up the top part of the superstructure a little more. Of course, everything you see here will be decorated over and actually look good. Throwing the stern tool again to steal its radar. That's a very normal radar for Soviet ships that have anti-ship missiles. That's the, if I remember correctly, that's the bandstand radar. Right, and now I am trying to smooth out the like the angle of the deck a little, but it's not just straight onto, but it has a little curve to it. They're actually very simple to make, these kinds of decks. And I was incrementally adjusting where what sits. Also, turn tool being annoying, as always. And hiding the heavy armor, sorry. Filling in some patches there. Just really don't want to work on the launchers. But I tried now. So it will be angled at 10 degrees. And it'll have 3 missiles each. Like that. And don't worry, it will all be changed very soon because I misplaced the whole thing. And trying to get it to work with the Terran tools and Onslaught's missiles. I have forgotten just how large these missiles actually are. And now moving it back a little, just to better make it fit. And that should be the correct length. It is. And just checking to see if I have all the right settings. And I'm making sure I can actually connect to a future missile system. Well, central missile system, I should say. Again, this thing is meant to lead fleets of Terran tools. So, maybe 3 Terran tools and a Nanushka. They will be a lot more expensive than the Terran tools. So I won't field that many of them. And to be honest, I don't like how they look. And now I see that the way that I have placed these launchers, I will have to do a lot of fiddling with the deco work. Yes, I did take them from the Terran tool, but that's just because I'm lazy and I want to save time. They're hiding all the launchers now. If you didn't know, you can in the deco menu you have a mesh called empty. If you choose that, it has absolutely nothing. It's void, and then you can press the hide original mesh, and it'll just make the block completely invisible, like I just did. And now just connecting. Oops. I don't like the connection between the upper one and the 2 lower ones. So I'll try and fix it here, but I don't succeed, and I just live with it. Not supposed to look like that. The upper one is actually supposed to be a bit further down. That's, well, creative liberties, I call them. So it's more like mistakes. And now I'll armor it up. I will change the armoring from heavy armor to metal because it's simply too heavy for this ship. It's also too heavy for the Terran tools, but I just brute force it there. I want to make my life easier on this one. So, but it's an easy fix. So you just see me add in the heavy armor, and that's it. And well, later then you'll see me adding in metal as well. And of course, deco hiding it all again. And now I'm filling in something I missed. And now I'm copying it for when I need to place it on the other side. Because if you mirror a sub-object like this, usually it doesn't end well. So copy and pasting the whole thing is just more optimal. And now I really struggled to line this up. Well, I did get it in the end. And here you can see how heavy it is. It's too heavy. And now I'll just change it over to metal. Like I told you I would. Oh, I'm spoiling my own videos. And now I'm changing it out. Change out the first launcher for a version with metal instead of heavy armor. It helped a little. Added a helium pump in the superstructure. We'll change the PIDs to actually work without the helium pump, because if that gets punctured, it'll just sink. So that's not optimal. So again, increasing the gain a lot. I don't know if that's the most optimal way of doing it, but it's the way I did it and it works for now. Who knows? Maybe later it will come back and bite me. And also checking how much ammo I have and need, and yeah, it's not looking good. I have maybe a third of what I need. Right. Still sick. And now adding in the central missile system. I couldn't find the deco I've made for the central missile, so I just took the whole thing. It would have been the same size anyways, so just to save time, I just did it like this. Also, something that's really annoying with building those angled decks is that if you build on that, you aren't building on the hull, which can be a little annoying because I usually press the build button on the front of ships where the angled deck is. Also checking out the colors for the missiles, because I always change the colors of the ships. Oh, you know what I mean. And now I'm making sure they're updated. Taken out, and they're just taken out of the back. I had a little crash out there. Also, I don't know why these missiles wanted to go for the turn tool so much. I mean, I understand it. I don't like it. It's really annoying. So here's a long montage of me trying to fix the decos. Just moving everything a little bit. So I should have started with the back section, because as you'll see later, me not accounting for that means I have to do this all over again, because it still sticks out at the back of the launchers. Also, you can see how many decorations there are here. I don't think you can optimize it much more than I already have. But it's just, if I have to change something like this, like moving the decos, it takes so long, because there are just so many things. Each of the fins are 3 decos, and there are 8 of them. You can figure it out yourself. 24 decos just for the fins. I have to do math on each of them just to figure out how they fit. Also, so here again, I hit the turn tool. Also saw that I don't have enough GPPP, you know, the general processing units. And now I'm actually going in and moving everything how they like to the correct lengths. And actually ends up looking better with the exhaust than on the turn tool, so might have to go in and change all that at some point. But you know me, I'm too lazy. Also might have to change out decorations for an actual lore-friendly missile, such as the muskets. Very long and tedious process moving all this like I do. And it's worth it. And it's actually kind of relaxing in a weird and torturous way. That's just from the depths, being from the depths. And as you can see, it actually looks better. And here we are. That's it for today. As you can see, we have done both a lot on the internals and the exterior, building up the superstructure, which I hadn't planned for, but oh well, here we are. I don't actually like this ship that much, so might end up just not having it at all. But anyways, see you in the next video. Bye bye.